When starting a franchise, there's usually a timeline or a process that goes on way before you sign the franchise agreement and pay the franchise fee. And then there's also a process that goes on after the fact. So you get to opening phase and then maturity phase. Today, we're going to talk about the overall timeline of investing into a franchise. Hello, my name is Joe Souza, and I am a partner at Friendship Consultants, where we help individuals look for and invest into purpose-driven franchises. Your due diligence or research phase, it's a very important phase in this process because this is when you're going to have the chance to really understand if this franchise is for you. Also, franchisors are going to be looking at you as a potential franchisee and making their own decision as well. So usually during this phase, you're going to get the chance to meet with the franchisor, usually meet with the founder and the CEO, the local support team, other franchisees. You also have the chance to talk with lenders if you plan on acquiring a loan for the investment. At times, you're going to also look into the real estate component if you invest into a franchise that require a physical facility. And also take all the time to go through franchise disclosure document, go through the numbers, put a business plan and a pro forma together. Usually this process goes on for anywhere between 30 to 120 days, depending on the kind of franchise you're investing. After your research process, there will be a time where you talk with the founder, you met with other franchisees, you can secure funding for your business, you found a location already, and it's good. Like you understand the risks involved, but you still want to move forward. So this will be the time when you actually get to sign the franchise agreement and pay what we call the initial franchise fee. So the initial franchise fee usually covers your territory, it covers your initial marketing package, it also covers your initial training and many other things, access to your operations manual, and that's usually a one-time fee that you pay when you sign the franchise agreement. Now that you sign the franchise agreement and pay the franchise fee, it's game on. You want to get this business started as soon as you possibly can. Some franchisors, especially like home-based franchises or smaller franchises that don't require a brick and mortar, you can start within a couple of weeks to start on targeting clients and getting new clients. If you are investing in a brick and mortar franchise, it may be months before you actually get to that point. So I know one specific franchise that I represent in the autism treatment field that takes roughly about 6 to 9 months for you to open even after you sign the franchise agreement and pay the franchise fee, primarily because you're putting up a location together, you're doing renovations, build out, you getting license and contracts and making sure that everything is ready for the business. Some franchises will take a lot less and actually a lot longer. I've heard of franchises that take over a year before you can start on taking clients. But this process is called the build out and pre-opening phase. And once again, it will vary depending on what kind of franchise you're investing, but that process usually starts right after you sign the franchise agreement. Now you're open for business and you're taking clients and you are going through the initial opening, doing grand openings, you're ramping up, you have a target in mind to get to the break even. So this phase is extremely exciting because now it's real and you're making a few mistakes along the way, but you're also learning and you're getting the support from your franchisor and also support from existing franchisees. It can be a little scared too because you are new to this and sometimes things don't go the way that we plan. So a few mistakes will be made along the way and you may dip into your funds for more than you projected for, but it's expected. A lot of franchisors, they will tell you that, hey, expect that first year to be challenging, to be kind of bumpy, and you're gonna bleed some money before you actually start to make it. If you can break even within the expected time frame, it's great. I know some franchises you can break even in a matter of a few months. Others, it might take a year or two for you to get to that break even point. But as long as you are on the right track, hitting the goals and you're doing what you're supposed to do and the numbers are coming in, you will be fine. But once again, this phase can be both very exciting and also very stressful because that's when you probably are putting more money than you're putting out. And that can be for some people very detrimental because they're transitioning from a corporate career as an example. So my personal advice after being doing this for as long as I have is don't have a plan B. power through and make sure you're doing everything the franchisor is asking you to do so you can go through this phase and get to that break-even point. Now you are at the maturity phase, and this is a great phase because you're no longer worried about breaking even or stop bleeding money. At this point, your mindset is at how can I make this good thing that I have going on now even better? So there are many options from here. Expansion. So you may want to call back that franchisor and say, hey, I'm ready to take on additional territories or even expand my existing territory. Or if I have a brick and mortar location, I'm thinking on getting an additional 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 square feet and expand my local business. So there are many options that you can do at this point. Also, one of them is to prepare for a exit. You may want to be doing this for 10 or 15 years and then eventually you want to get out and sell it and find a good local business broker that will help you sell that business, and the franchisor can also help you with that most of the time. So there are many options that you can do this, but once again, this is a great phase because it's a phase that you're no longer worried about if you're going to make it, but your concern is more like, hey, how can I take the benefit of what I created and either leave it as a legacy for my family members, expand, or even exit on a nice exit that will be part of your retirement plan. And that's it for today's video. I hope you appreciate the content that we put out. If you are thinking about investing into a franchise, reach out to me. You can either check our website at friendshipconsultants.com or just drop me an email, joe@friendshipconsultants.com. And I'd love to talk to you and explain our process and see how our services can help you find that and invest into a purpose-driven franchise. See you next time.